I want to know all of me. I want to know every part. I want to see everything that's happened that I've missed these past few years. I want to see every part of me. Because, my darling, you are divine perfection. And every part of me is worthy of being known.
Known, that's always what we have tried to be to us for the Finns.
I know that there's a lot of secrets inside of my brain that want to be known. I know it.
This is amazing. I found case study notes. She also discovered that temporal lobe epilepsy can cause a variety of implicit battles that may appear like mental health struggles, but it's actually associated with a certain type of seizure that's happening unconsciously. Her first experience of noticing the symptoms of temporal lobe epilepsy was on March 19th, 2019, while driving to her chiropractic treatment session. Wow.
Dr. Luca Music and I are doing a case study, learning some profound things. Today we are experimenting with muscle testing, and we're having to break it up into multiple days because it causes so much dissociation, so many shifts of consciousness. He does something to portions of my muscles, and I tell him what I'm experiencing and noticing, and then he wakes up those muscles and that part of the brain and stuff. Because our mind-body connection has developed uniquely and very powerfully, our body is our mind in a way. Parts of consciousness live in the body, and because they have their own consciousness within a dissociative identity, there's minds within the body basically. And so doing different things activated different parts of the brain, activated different neurochemical responses. I passed out at a couple points, like completely just out for the count, nap time, completely crumpled over everything. Through this, we can learn to understand our life experience better. We can learn to communicate with parts better and help them more effectively. And we could even create things that would help, like sleeping and stuff. Because if this can like make me just go relaxed and completely clear mind, completely bliss state, and sleep is really, really hard with this disorder, this could be like really revolutionary. Like a big part of regaining my sanity and power over my life and stuff was finding a way to sleep every night. And if that wasn't an issue, all the other healing stuff would have been much more possible on a day-to-day basis.
We've learned a few things. I'm going to go finish sun gazing, do our sunset meditation, and prepare for an epic moonlight meditation. Never give up.
Whoa, something else happens. Oh my God, this is true. And it feels like I have two different eyeballs with two different levels of vision. This one is brighter and sharper, like it physically has more light. And it's much more sharp and clear, and it's almost like I'm seeing it zoomed in. My theory is that parts are in charge of peripheral vision, and normal stuff is in charge of dead-on things. And that's why when I'm trying to focus, parts keep getting activated by stuff going on over here beyond my control. And my brain's like hurting after that. That's a really interesting.
Well, that's a big one.
Right here.
Yeah.
Only right here, though. It's very concentrated.
Well, that makes sense. We were testing the prior a little.
This is the first time I'm lucid in a week and a half. Gotta go! I need to! Please go. We found out Abby is 6 months old. Or 8 months old.
Really? She's tiny.
Yeah, she's so cute. It's funny how the features that we picked up, the facial expressions, the way they smile, the way they walk, the color they think their hair is, it all matches with how I looked and acted at that age.
if we can move her around and break up some scar tissue that's on her brain, then it'll provide little bits of relief. And you do more and more of it over time, and it all adds up. When you really break it down, the goal of a chiropractor is to remove interference between your brain and your body. Okay?
That's the deep breath I couldn't get. My whole brain is getting oxygen. It literally feels like I'm breathing for the first time this week. It literally feels like I'm coming to consciousness for the first time this week. I'm gonna cry.
But why?
I'm just going numb.
Hey, don't forget to breathe. There we go. There we go. Good.
That's the feeling I'm trying to get to, is being able to breathe, and I can never get there. Never.
We just do that until one of her eyeballs just blows out, because that means that side of the brain is done.
And it helps the two brain hemispheres to connect, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, it does. That's why it does.
Give yourself a nice hug. Embrace your unique self. Ground with vocal vibrations. Block out the world and prioritize internal presence. Reclaim your power. Befriend your consciousness. It's a beautiful thing.
I am present. I am open. I am flexible. I am willing. I surrender. I am open. I am healing. I am whole. I am already more than enough. I am a blessing. I am a treasure. I release what no longer serves me so that I can stay open to the magic. Magic is all around us. Only we would pause long enough to notice.
Whoa.
And
Yes? You're breathing through your nose.
you're scary though.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Breath I would normally get to in meditation after hours of work with like every tool in the book.
You're already there after less than a minute.
To take a breath that big, as big as I'm taking now, would have been extremely painful and only even possible after multiple hours of nonstop grounding and meditative exercises.
Let's try it at its lowest setting.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if it's more gradual, I can be more present with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are the head ticks I was talking about.
Is that okay?
Yeah, the head tick stopped. I can see again. Strong. Notes on oxygen deprivation as a symptom of dissociative identity disorder. Dissociative identity disorder would have a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems with their own separate consciousness, and they're not interacting, not necessarily interacting ever, leading to chronic oxygen deprivation, because every breath involves both nervous systems. So heart rate variability is what needs to be experimented with in DID.
Those chickens are driving me nuts. I've chased them off twice already.
In order to sustain a train of thought, I have to stay present with my physical self. And that doesn't happen most of the time. As soon as I look away from this, I forget who I am. I forget my physical sense of self. I forget where my nose is. I forget where my eyes are. I forget where my head is. And so I start to scratch my head, wondering where it is. And in that process, a habitual habit of unconsciously scratching my skin off of my head. So much that it has bled at points in the past 15 years. I kept forgetting where my head was. And I didn't even realize this until 2 years of intensive trauma work. 5 years into mental health treatment. Like, seeing my body there, I feel sensations in me of like, whoa, what? Just confusion and baffledness and wonder and like fear, disorientation, like a variety of emotions as soon as I see my physical self. And when I move my hand, this motion that I see in the mirror is not the same motion that I see out here as I look at it. This doesn't exist to me. That looks real. It's like the opposite of a ghost. I can see myself in a mirror, but not in real life. When the self can unblend, meaning be present with parts rather than the self being present and ostracizing parts, or the parts fronting and the self being blended or hijacked, or, some level of not present. I'm the captain of my consciousness. I like that. I know, that wasn't even me, so thank you for that. Captain, I think that's how you spell it, which is noticeable through this muscle being activated unconsciously. It's struggling because we're eating. And when we eat, the core trauma comes to the surface in the body. And the whole way that associative identity design is that the normal life self never has to know about it. We've spent the past year allowing this core trauma to come to the surface so that we could process it through self-hypnosis. It's been unconsciously surfacing for a long time. But we've been intentionally doing the daily self-hypnosis for over 12 months, over a year. Ouch. Ice on my... Keep ice on my body at all times. Keep me here. When I look at myself, this part doesn't feel like the same person as this, but they're both connected to my face. Before, what was happening was this half of my face would start drifting away from my physical body, and the self-recognition would only take place over here. Now, they look like two different people. I look at this eye, and then I look at this eye, and the recognition is of someone else. In the same physical way that you look at somebody, and then you look at somebody else, and you're unconscious, meaning that your body knows that they are different people. So if I look at my left eye, I don't recognize myself as having a right eye. It looks like there's someone standing next to me. It's almost like someone is reaching up through my body, gripping my organs, tying them up into individual knots, like dozens and dozens of knots throughout each individual organ. And then the hand continues reaching up and has a vice grip on my heart.
I know, right? Yeah, she's like, well, it'd be better if I could recognize my half of the face. And then she's like, shoot, that was judgment. I take it back.